I loved my childhood best friend for 20 years. When I finally told her how I felt, she said she didn't see me that way. AITA for ignoring my childhood best friend after she rejected my confession? There's a special kind of pain that comes from loving someone who doesn't love you back. It's not the dramatic, cinematic heartbreak of a failed romance. It's quieter than that. More insidious. It's the slow realization that the person you built your world around sees you as nothing more than a supporting character in their story. For me, that person was Maya. Maya and I met when we were 7 years old. She moved into the house across the street from my family's home in a quiet suburban neighborhood, and within a week, we were inseparable. We rode bikes together, built forts in our backyards, traded snacks at lunch. She was my first friend, my best friend, the person who knew me better than anyone. Through elementary school, we were a package deal. Teachers knew us as Maya and Ethan, like we were a single entity. We had sleepovers every weekend, told each other our deepest secrets, swore we'd be friends forever. Middle school was harder. We were in different classes, started making different friends. But we always came back to each other. I'd be sitting alone at lunch, and she'd appear with her tray, sliding into the seat across from me like no time had passed. She'd tell me about her new friends, her latest crush, the drama of middle school life. I'd listen, laugh, offer advice. I was her safe space, her constant, the one person who never judged her. High school changed everything. Maya blossomed. She was always pretty, but somewhere between sophomore and junior year, she became beautiful. The kind of beautiful that made people stop and stare. She was voted homecoming queen, dated the star quarterback, was invited to every party. She was popular in a way that seemed effortless, like she'd always belonged at the center of attention. I, on the other hand, remained firmly in the background. I was the quiet one, the smart one, the one teachers liked but students ignored. I had my small circle of friends, my grades, my hobbies. I was content mostly. But every time I saw Maya cross the crowded hallway, laughing with her popular friends, I felt a pang of something I couldn't name. We still hung out, but less often. She'd text me late at night, after the parties were over, when she needed to decompress. She'd tell me about the drama, the fights, the boys who disappointed her. I'd listen, offer comfort, tell her she deserved better. Those were the moments I lived for, when she was just Maya again, not the homecoming queen, not the popular girl, just my friend. Somewhere along the way, my feelings changed. I don't know when it happened. There wasn't a single moment, a single realization. It was gradual, like the changing of seasons. One day I looked at her and realized that she wasn't just my friend anymore. She was everything. I loved her. Not the way you love a friend. The way you love someone you want to spend your life with. I didn't tell her, of course. I was terrified. Terrified of rejection, of losing her, of destroying the only relationship that had ever really mattered to me. So I kept it inside, buried it deep, pretended everything was normal. We graduated. She went to a prestigious university 3 states away. I stayed local, attended the state school, started building my life. We promised to stay in touch, to visit, to never let the distance change us. For a while we did. She'd call me late at night, drunk and lonely, telling me about her new friends, her classes, the boys who were wrong for her. I'd listen, laugh, offer advice. Just like old times. But the calls became less frequent. The visits never happened. She was building a new life, and I was becoming a memory. I focused on myself. Graduated with honors, landed a good job, started building a career. I dated, had relationships, even fell in love once or twice. But no one ever measured up to Maya. No one ever felt like home. Then, 5 years after graduation, she moved back. I heard through mutual friends that her big city dreams hadn't worked out. The job she wanted fell through. The boyfriend she'd followed there turned out to be a disaster. She was coming home, tail between her legs, starting over. Part of me was sad for her. Part of me was hopeful. Maybe this was our chance. Maybe now, finally, she'd see me. She reached out within a week of moving back. A text, casual and warm. "Hey stranger, I'm back in town. Drink sometime?" I responded immediately. "Absolutely. Name the time and place." We met at a bar downtown, the kind with dim lighting and craft cocktails. She looked exactly the same, beautiful, confident, magnetic. She hugged me tight, held on a beat too long. "God, I've missed you," she said. "I've missed you too." We talked for hours. She told me about the job that fell through, the boyfriend who cheated, the city that had chewed her up and spit her out. I listened, offered comfort, told her she deserved better. Just like old times. But something had changed. I was different now. More confident. More sure of myself. I had a career, a life, a future. I wasn't the shy, awkward kid I'd been in high school. I was a man. And I still loved her. Maybe more than ever. We started hanging out regularly. Coffee on weekends, dinner after work, long walks in the park where we'd played as children. It was like no time had passed. She was my person again. The one I told everything to. The one who knew me best. But now, when I looked at her, I saw something I hadn't seen before. Vulnerability. Loneliness. A crack in her armor. She was hurting, and she needed someone to lean on. I wanted to be that someone. I wanted to be everything. So I decided to tell her. After all these years, after everything, I was finally going to tell her the truth. I planned it carefully. Not a grand gesture, that wasn't my style. Just a quiet moment, a honest conversation. I'd tell her how I felt, and whatever happened, at least I'd finally have said it. I chose a Sunday afternoon. We were at our favorite coffee shop, the one we'd been going to since we were teenagers. She was laughing at something I'd said, her eyes crinkling at the corners, and I thought, now. Do it now. "Maya, I need to tell you something." She looked at me, curious. "Okay. What's up?" I took a deep breath. "I've known you for 20 years. You're my best friend. You've always been my best friend. But somewhere along the way, my feelings changed. I love you, Maya. Not just as a friend. I'm in love with you." Her smile froze. Her eyes went wide. "I know this might be unexpected. I know we've been friends forever. But I couldn't keep it inside anymore. I needed you to know." Silence. Long, horrible silence. "Ethan." Her voice was soft, careful. "I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I just needed you to know." She looked down at her coffee. Swirled it slowly. When she looked up, her eyes were wet. "You're my best friend. You've always been my best friend. But I don't see you that way. I'm sorry." The words hit me like a physical blow. I'd expected them, prepared for them, but nothing could have softened the impact. "I understand," I said. My voice was calm, steady. A miracle. "I don't want to lose you. You're the most important person in my life. You won't lose me. I just need some time." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "Take all the time you need. Just come back. Okay?" I nodded. Smiled. Pretended everything was fine. We finished our coffee. Talked about nothing. Hugged goodbye. And I walked away. That was the last time I saw her for 6 months. I didn't plan to cut her off. It just happened. Every time I thought about calling her, the pain came rushing back. Every time I picked up my phone to text her, I remembered her face, her words, the way she looked at me with pity. I couldn't do it. I couldn't pretend everything was fine when it wasn't. I couldn't go back to being just her friend, the safe option, the one she called when she had no one else. So I didn't call. I didn't text. I disappeared. She reached out, at first. Texts. Hey, thinking of you. Hope you're okay. Miss you. I read them, felt the familiar ache, and didn't respond. Then the calls started. Voicemails, one after another. Ethan, please call me. I'm worried about you. I don't understand what happened. Did I do something wrong? Please. Just tell me you're okay. I listened to every one. Saved them in a folder I never opened again. Months passed. The texts stopped. The calls stopped. Life went on. I threw myself into work. Got promoted. Bought a house. Started dating again. Real dating, not just filling time. Met a woman named Priya, who was kind and smart and nothing like Maya. We took it slow, built something real. I was healing. Finally, after all these years, I was healing. Then, 8 months after that Sunday at the coffee shop, I got a text from an unknown number. Ethan, it's Maya. I got a new phone. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but my mom is sick. Really sick. And I don't have anyone else. Please. I stared at the message for a long time. My heart was pounding. Part of me wanted to delete it, to protect myself, to keep moving forward. But another part, the part that had loved her for 20 years, couldn't ignore her pain. I called her that night. She answered on the first ring. Ethan? I'm here. She started crying. Not the pretty, controlled crying people do in movies. Ugly, gasping, desperate crying. The kind that comes from somewhere deep. It's cancer. They found it last week. Stage 4. She has months, maybe less. I don't know what to do. I don't have anyone. Where are you? At the hospital. I've been here for 3 days. I'm coming. I drove 2 hours to the hospital. Found her in the waiting room, pale and exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. She looked up when I walked in, and the relief on her face was almost unbearable. You came. Of course I came. We sat together for hours that night. She talked about her mom, about the diagnosis, about the terror of watching someone you love slip away. I listened, offered comfort, held her hand. Just like old times. The next few weeks were a blur of hospital visits, doctor consultations, and the slow, agonizing process of watching someone die. I was there for all of it. Not because I wanted anything from Maya. I didn't. Not because I hoped for a reconciliation. I'd given up on that. But because she needed someone, and I was the only one who showed up. Her other friends, the ones from high school, the ones from her big city life, they sent texts, made sympathetic noises, then disappeared. Her dad had died years ago. She had no siblings. It was just her and her mom, and now her mom was dying. So I stayed. I drove her to appointments, picked up groceries, sat with her mom when Maya needed a break, held Maya while she cried, did all the things a friend does, because that's what I was. Her friend. Her mom died 6 weeks after the diagnosis. Maya was with her, holding her hand. She called me afterward, her voice hollow and broken, and I drove straight to the hospital. The funeral was small. Just family, and a few close friends. I stood in the back, watching Maya crumble and rebuild, crumble and rebuild. She gave a eulogy that made everyone cry, including me. Afterward, at the reception, she found me. Thank you, she whispered, for everything. I don't know what I would have done without you. You don't have to thank me. That's what friends are for. She looked at me then, really looked, and something flickered in her eyes. I've missed you. These past months, having you here, it's meant everything. I've missed you too. Can we talk? Really talk? Not here. Somewhere quiet. We went to the coffee shop. Our coffee shop. The same one where I'd told her how I felt, almost a year ago. We sat across from each other, the same table, the same chairs. So much had changed. So much had stayed the same. I owe you an apology, she said, for how I handled things, for how I treated you after you told me how you felt. You didn't do anything wrong. You were honest. I was selfish. I wanted you in my life, but only on my terms. I wanted you to be my friend, my support, my safe space. But I didn't want to give you what you needed. I didn't even think about what you needed. Maya, let me finish. Please. She took a deep breath. When you disappeared, I was angry at first. How dare you leave me, I thought. How dare you abandon me when I needed you? It took me months to realize that I was the one who'd been abandoning you. 4 years. Our whole friendship, I took and took and took, and I never once asked what you needed. I didn't respond. Didn't make it easy. I used you. I know that now. You were my backup, my safety net, the person I ran to when everyone else failed me. And I never once thought about how that felt for you. I never once considered that you might want more, need more, deserve more. Maya, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not. And I'm so sorry. For everything. For not seeing you. For not appreciating you. For taking you for granted my whole life. She was crying now. Real tears, not performance. I don't expect anything from you. I don't expect you to forgive me, or to come back, or to be my friend again. I just needed you to know that I see it now. I see you. And I'm so sorry it took losing you to finally understand. I reached across the table and took her hand. I forgive you, I said. I've already forgiven you. She looked up, surprised. I was angry for a long time. Hurt. But I never stopped loving you. Not the way you think, not romantically. That's faded. But as a person, as my oldest friend, as someone who's been part of my life for 20 years. I love you, Maya. Just not the way I used to. She nodded, wiping her eyes. I understand. And I'm okay with that. I just want you in my life. However you'll have me. We sat in silence for a while, holding hands across the table. The coffee shop hummed around us, oblivious to the moment. I should tell you, I said finally. I'm seeing someone. Her name is Priya. It's serious. Maya's face flickered, surprise, maybe, or something else, but she recovered quickly. I'm happy for you. Is she good to you? She is. She's wonderful. Good. You deserve wonderful. We talked for hours after that. About her mom, about my new relationship, about the future. It was easy, natural, like old times. But different too. Cleaner. More honest. When we finally left, she hugged me tight. Thank you for coming back, she whispered. Thank you for letting me. I drove home that night with a strange sense of peace. The chapter with Maya wasn't over, exactly, but it had finally found its ending. The months that followed were a period of adjustment. Maya and I didn't go back to the way things were. We couldn't. Too much had happened, too much had changed. But we found a new rhythm, a new way of being in each other's lives. We talked once a week usually. Phone calls, not texts. She'd tell me about her grief, her healing, her slow process of rebuilding. I'd tell her about my work, my life, my relationship with Priya. Priya knew everything. I told her early on, about Maya, about my feelings, about the history. She listened without judgment, asked thoughtful questions, and never once made me feel guilty. She's important to you, Priya said. 20 years of friendship doesn't just disappear. I'm not threatened by her. You're amazing, you know that? I know. She grinned. That's why you're with me. Maya started therapy. It was her idea, and I was proud of her for it. She was finally doing the work, facing the patterns that had shaped her life. She called me after one session, excited. My therapist said something that really hit me. She said I've spent my whole life looking for people to save me, instead of learning to save myself. And the one person who actually tried to save me, you, I took for granted because you made it look easy. That's actually really insightful. I know, right? Who knew therapy worked? She laughed, a real laugh, the first I'd heard from her in months. She started dating too. Carefully, slowly, with boundaries she'd never had before. She'd tell me about her dates, ask for my opinion, laugh at her own missteps. It was strange, being her friend through this, but also good. Healthy. Priya and I got engaged a year later. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. Maya came, sat in the back, cried happy tears. She hugged Priya afterward and whispered something that made Priya smile. What did she say? I asked later. She said thank you for making you happy, and that if I ever hurt you, she'd hunt me down. Priya laughed. I like her. I like her too. Just not the way I used to. I know. That's why it's okay. The wedding was beautiful. Maya gave a toast, short, funny, heartfelt. She talked about knowing me since we were 7 years old, about all the versions of me she'd known, about how proud she was of the man I'd become. I used to think I knew what love was, she said. I was wrong. Love isn't about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It's about showing up, day after day, even when it's hard. It's about being there when someone needs you, even if they don't deserve it. Ethan taught me that. He's been showing up for me my whole life. And I'm so grateful that he finally found someone who shows up for him. I cried. Priya cried. Everyone cried. After the wedding, Maya pulled me aside. I'm going to be okay, she said. I just wanted you to know that. I'm going to be okay. I know you will. Because of you. Because you showed me what real love looks like. Even when I couldn't return it the way you wanted. I hugged her. You're my friend. You'll always be my friend. That's enough. She smiled, tears in her eyes. That's more than enough. It's been 3 years since that Sunday at the coffee shop. 3 years since I told Maya how I felt, and she gently, kindly, broke my heart. So much has changed. I'm married to Priya now. We have a daughter, Leela, who just turned 1. She has her mother's smile and my stubbornness, and she is the absolute center of my world. I come home from work every day to her shrieking, Dada, and launching herself into my arms, and every stress, every worry, every complication dissolves in that moment. Maya is part of our lives. Not every day, but often enough. She's Aunt Maya to Leela, showing up with gifts and stories and unconditional love. She's built a new career, new friendships, a new life. She's dating someone serious, a woman named Jess, which surprised everyone but makes perfect sense once you know her. She's the one, Maya told me last week, her eyes shining. I finally found her. I'm happy for you. Really happy. I know you are. That's why you're my person. I thought about that word. Person. The one you call when everything falls apart. The one who knows you better than anyone. The one who shows up, no matter what. That's what we are now. Not lovers, not even best friends in the traditional sense. Just people. Connected by history, by love, by 25 years of knowing each other. The other day, Leela asked about the photos on my phone. Pictures of Maya and me as kids, riding bikes, building forts, being young. Who's that, Dada? That's Aunt Maya. She's my oldest friend. Is she your best friend? I've thought about it. She's one of them. But you know who my best friend is? Who? Your mom. And you. You're my best friends too. Leela nodded, satisfied with that answer. Then she demanded a snack and ran off to find her mother. I sat there, looking at those old photos, and thought about the journey. The years of silent longing. The rejection that felt like the end of the world. The healing that followed. The friendship that somehow, miraculously survived. I used to wonder if I'd made the right choice, cutting her off after she rejected me. For months, I second-guessed myself. Maybe I should have stayed. Maybe I should have been stronger. Maybe I could have handled it differently. But now I know. I did exactly what I needed to do. I protected myself. I gave myself space to heal. And when the time was right, I came back, not as the lovesick boy I'd been, but as a man who'd built a life, found love, and finally understood his own worth. Maya needed that too. She needed to lose me to finally see me. She needed to face consequences to finally change. And she did. She did the work, became a better person, built a life she's proud of. We're both where we're supposed to be. Together, but separate. Connected, but not entangled. Loving each other in a way that's finally, truly healthy. So, AITA for ignoring my childhood friend after she rejected me? I've thought about that question a lot. And here's my answer. No. I'm not the asshole. I'm someone who needed space to heal. I'm a man who refused to settle for being someone's backup plan. I'm a friend who, in the end, loved someone enough to let her go, and then loved her enough to come back when she really needed me. Could I have handled it differently? Maybe. Could I have been more communicative, more patient, more forgiving in the moment? Possibly. But I did what I thought was right at the time. And sometimes, that's all any of us can do. Leela calls from the kitchen. Dada! Mama says dinner's ready. I put down my phone, walk toward the sound of my family, and smile. This is my life now. And it's better than anything I could have imagined. Which side of that story were you on? Let me know in the comments. And if you love diving into these Reddit rabbit holes with me, subscribe to Reddit Be Mine. We're building the best storytelling community on YouTube, and we'd love to have you. Click that sub button and stay tuned.